Joining me with more on this is Congressman Khanna of California, a Democrat who sits on the Armed Services Committee. Thank you for being with me this morning, Congressman.
Thank you for having me on.
North Korea, you served on Armed Services Committee. Do you hear any definitive answer to the threat of North Korea? They have now launched a missile, shown that they can reach Alaska. What is the strategy? What is the plan? What are we doing here?
Well, I think President Trump missed a huge opportunity, and there is bipartisan consensus on what needs to be done. Bill Perry, George Shultz wrote a letter to him and Sam Nunn saying, let's engage in direct negotiations with North Korea. We did that in the 1990s. There was the 1994 framework. It was successful. There's no plan of diplomatic outreach or negotiation, and so we're waiting for a strategy, and the people who know that area have outlined what a strategy should be.
But he was there in Hamburg, meeting with the world leaders. He met with President Xi of China. He met with Putin. I mean, when are we going to come up with a strategy and try to have partners in that strategy or deal with China in that strategy if we couldn't do it this week? I mean, did he just choke? Or is he inept? Or is there some hidden strategy that even the Armed Services Committee of the U.S. Congress doesn't know?
Well, I think there is an ineptness. One, there's no nuance. Just having bluster and saying we're going to take care of North Korea doesn't solve anything. We know in the 1990s the framework negotiated under the Bill Clinton administration succeeded partly because you had negotiation, you had nuance, and then George Bush came and declared North Korea part of the axis of evil. John Bolton got rid of all of those agreements, and we have the situation we do now. We need to go back to a diplomatic approach, and the president has shown no even understanding of what we need to do. And then he has ceded, as you mentioned, any moral authority. He never spoke about human rights to Putin. He never brought up issues of climate change. I've never seen an American president cede moral authority on the world stage like the president has.
Now, let me ask you, there are some even saying that maybe this can lead or should lead to a conversation with the head of state of North Korea, Mr. Premier Kim. Would that be something that you would say is way off the scale or way out of line, or would that be something that you would say is possibly productive?
I think we have to keep that option open and have direct negotiation. You know, Bill Perry, who is so thoughtful about these things, said that the risk of war is largely because of misunderstanding. And we saw that when we engaged in direct negotiations with North Korea, we had a program to buy up their intercontinental ballistic missiles in the 1990s. It worked. There were accusations of cheating on both sides, but there was a framework that was leading to a solution. And we ought to have that on the table. That's not just me as a Democrat saying that. That's people like George Shultz, who helped negotiate the end of the Cold War, saying that. And what I don't understand is why the president isn't bringing in these people like Sam Nunn, George Shultz, Bill Perry, and saying, let's have a strategy. He has offered no strategy. Just tweeting is not a strategy when the safety of the United States is concerned.
Now, let me go to health care. You are, as you said, a Democrat in Congress. We are seeing the Congress is getting ready to come back from the 4th of July break. We're hearing at one level that the Senate has a secret strategy now to try to come and in my terms, not yours, bum rush something through. Others are saying that they've gotten even more people in the Senate that are saying they're not going to support this, they're not going to vote for the Senate plan on health care. How do you read it? What's going to happen? What's your prediction?
Well, I don't think the votes are going to be there. When the CBO came out and said 22 million people would lose their health care coverage with this plan, I just don't see how in good conscience people can support it. And I will give you credit, when you ran in 2003 and you were talking about Medicare for all, you were quite a visionary back then, and I actually see now a lot more appetite in the House about a real plan of getting Medicare for all, which will deal with the costs and also help expand coverage. If we really want to improve health care, we should do what you were talking about back in 2003.
Oh, I thank you for giving me credit, but I also give credit for President Obama. He not only talked about it, he did it. But I'll take my credit as starting to talk about it. Thank you, Congressman Khanna.